With so many players around the world, there are going to be some that just show how amazing a character is while no one else can, and I wanted to talk about it in this video. This is a follow-up video to another video I made talking about players that define their characters' metas, and I wanted to go over it. Just to give a bit of rules when it comes to this, I'm talking about people who really define it. Yeah, there can be really good players or the best of a character, but there could be just a bunch of reps of that character. So someone like Zamba, who obviously is the best Rob, still isn't the only Rob. There's still other Robs putting in work. Just to give you guys an idea, which is why I wouldn't be talking about him in this video, but I'm excited to go into it, so let's get into it. First, let's talk about Tweak. When Diddy Kong got buffed and changed his dash attack to being an actual usable move in a Smash game, which was wild, I think Diddy Kong was mid to high tier in people's minds, and then Tweak picked him up, and Tweak shown that this character is crazy. Sure, it's not obvious in the first glance because like all you have to do is get rid of Banana and his damage like goes away. Oh, he's not that explosive, he doesn't do that much damage per hit, and then you play against one. He's extraordinarily difficult to hit. His defense is ridiculous. Monkey Flip is a broken command grab. Banana is absurd as a transcendent projectile that is a whiff punish tool from across the stage. With Banana in your hand, you can do like Z-catch combos that can make your ascend your combos even better. Nair is absurdly good. I didn't think people sleep on Nair a lot. I just don't really see anyone else showing it as well as Tweak. Like, Tweak is the best Diddy Kong and just explains how crazy this character is and how good he is versus a bunch of characters in the meta. Yeah, he still has struggle matchups, but they're usually matchups that you don't usually see. You don't see Pac-Man nearly as much as you see Cloud or Roy or other like popular characters. But it's still pretty tough. I think Snake is probably the most common hard matchup for Diddy Kong, but I think Diddy Kong does well into Sonic, does well into Kazuya, does well into Pikachu, does well into Cloud, does okay versus Steve. I don't think it's like very good, but it's still okay. Does really well against Game & Watch. He has a really crazy matchup spread, and Tweak is just very dominant with the character, showing that if you want to just camp, you can. It's really hard to hit him. He's really good at catching up to you because he's weirdly really fast, and he just will be able to explode on you with the right combo setup. Now, he won't be able to always get it, of course. Those hard matchups do exist, but I think Tweak is very much an example that when the top level rep picks up a designated high tier, people just start thinking this character's top 10. This character's insane. I still think Diddy Kong's really, really good, but top 10? No. Next, we have Toru, or I guess he's TG now, with Banjo. This character was in the trenches. People thought this character was bottom 5 before Toru shown how obnoxious this character can be. Yes, he doesn't have crazy combos. Yeah, his game plan's not really as obvious as people think it is. Some people really just try to camp with him and think, oh, that's all he can do, but his damage can just rack up really fast with his advantage state. He can actually set up for pretty early kills with his side B or with Wonder Wing. It's not that uncommon for him to just camp you and make you frustrated until you get hit by like weird Banjo combos with Blunderbuss and not Blunderbuss with the eggs. The eggs are just so good at zoning naturally for him. It's just like there are like mini robots that control so much of the stage, and he can combo off of it. His like stage control is not better than people realize. I still think he's around like mid tier, like the high end of mid tier. Like he's not crazy. Like Banjo still has to deal with so many other better characters at doing what he does. Like these, like being a zoner in Smash Ultimate is just not uncommon. But when it comes to people who just changed everyone's perception of how useless Banjo felt, it was Toru. Like I used to think that Banjo had no moves. Like his Nair still feels really awful. His up air, while can juggle, is just so weak. His back air is not that bad. But his Nair makes no sense. I don't know. His kit just didn't make sense to me. But I guess when it is just focused on zoning and keeping up pressure where people don't want to be, he can actually do it. And I am excited to see more Banjo and Kazooie. I don't know if there's gonna be another one. I think this is just a Raito and Smash 4 situation where you just have someone really passionate about the character, even though there's no real reason to play the character. Because there's just so many characters that do what he does easier. But it's cool to see someone who took someone who was so awful to majors and do very, very well. Let's get into it and talk about Light. Light has been the dominant Fox player for forever, like pretty much since the beginning of the game, and it doesn't really make sense to me. Sure, there are some Foxes that still do a pretty alright. We still have, like, I think of Fast, I think of Kaminabe when he did that crazy run. There's still other Fox players, but none that even touch Light. Light's pressure, Light's aggression, Light's like intelligence with the game. He will make you feel suffocated the whole time, no matter where you are on the stage. He embodies this character's strengths, and the weaknesses don't even feel that weak because Light is so smart and disadvantaged. People don't talk about it enough because they think, oh, Fox's recovery is so easy to gimp. Just hit him and then get his double jump, and then his up B takes forever and then spike him. Right, that's as easy as hell. But no, it's just Light was so good at pioneering ways to get back to stage, to get out of disadvantage. It's kind of impressive. Maybe this might be a case that no one wants to deal with it. There are just characters easier than Fox by a lot, especially in tournament. In tournament, you have to be like on point. Your nerves are going to be in the way. You're a very light character, and there's just certain matchups where you explode. Like, I think Fox Steve isn't that bad for Fox, but you get hit by the wrong jab, you die at 0. And then you fight Fox Rob, also doesn't feel that bad for Fox until you get hit by that wrong, like that forward air catches your double jump and you die at 30. And I think it's a stress that people don't really want to deal with in tournament other than Light, but I think when it comes to Light, it just embodies the way he wants to play, the aggressive style he wants to play, to the point that it shows how worth it can be if you're willing to just put your nerves aside and lock in. I am not. I think there are a lot of people that aren't. I think they like to have a bit more leeway when it comes to being aggressive in the game, and there are characters that do that. But when it comes to being a top Fox, it's exciting to see Light show again and again how crazy this guy is. So I got a lot of comments talking about Zachary's Pit, and I was definitely foolish for not including him in the last video, because Zachary pretty much put this character on the map. Until Zachary showed how good this character can be, how balanced this character is, how annoying his moves can actually be, I think there wasn't really a Pit showing that. Pit's really, really, really underplayed. I said it in a different video, but I do think Pit just has the tools to deal with most situations, and Zachary is really good at embodying them. It feels like his defense and offense are just so in tune that anytime he hits you, you're like taking 60. And even though those aren't true combos, it just feels like Pit's advantage state flows so well, and Zachary's so good at reacting to options that he'll just be really smart all the time. Like, I don't think he ever makes a bad play with Pit, but just gets outplayed when it comes to aggression. And if you just watch Zachary's Pit, you'll see this character can just do it against every character in the game. There aren't really matchups that are so hard you can't possibly win when it comes to Pit. But then I think they add up to the point where, yeah, he still does go Rob sometimes. He still does have his Joker in the back, and Pit will still be one of the most mid-high tier characters in the game. But I'm excited to watch more and more Zachary in 2025 because it's just wild how much he pushed this character forward and how little people play him. Next, we're going to be talking about Yoshi Dora. Yoshi felt kind of solved when it came to how he operated. It felt like his approaches were very obvious. His forward air is the biggest move he can do. He has eggs to come at you. How do you actually win with Yoshi? And no one else just could do it other than Yoshi Dora, who at some point was considered top 10. I think he is around that area still, but I don't really know. There's just so many good players right now, and Yoshi Dora showed it. He showed that his combos of his character are insane. He has 80% combos on everyone in the game. He has some of the best defense because he has double jump armor. He has a lot of weight to throw around, which means his rage combos go crazy. He has a shield that's really hard to deal with when it comes to his out of shield options being broken. His spacing is crazy, his frame data is nuts. This character is nuts, and Yoshidora showed that. It was weird because it felt like, how come no Yoshi's just doing it? Is he that weird? Is it sword characters? Is it Palutena and Cloud or Corrin or all those sword characters that can space him out? Not really, because he's still fast. He's still so fast. He still can just outmaneuver them with his weird movement. His airspeed is ridiculous. He will just get out of there and get towards there so well. I don't know. It's wild. And Yoshidora is just good at embodying all the parts of Yoshi that make him so crazy. If Yoshidora becomes the best player in the world, it won't just be because of Yoshi. It will be because he has the best brain for the character and one of the best brains in the game when it comes to just weaving in and out when he wants to. I think Yoshi is still a top tier, but it's wild how well he does against bad matchups that I thought were just terrible. Even Cloud, who I think is really ramping up as one of Yoshi's worst matchups, he still does very well. I still think he should have beaten Spargo that one time, but I'm not gonna hate. Obviously, Spargo is amazing, but I think Cloud's ridiculous. But Yoshidora, I just think if there's going to be another Yoshi to do it as well as him, like there's some Yoshis in the US, like I don't know any Europe Yoshis, but there's some Yoshis in the US that can definitely do it. And it's not like he's doing Yoshi tech that no one else can do. It's not hard. Like, it's still pretty obvious. It's just that he's a better player. He's just a smarter player. He knows the timings that he should be going for these stuff. And I think that's a benefit of playing Yoshi. I think if more people were closely watching how he played Yoshi, we'll see more top Yoshis. But there's a pride in Smash Ultimate players when it comes to trying to pioneer a character. And I don't think the Yoshi has any tech that any other Yoshi couldn't possibly do. I think it's very possible to see a top Yoshi emerge that isn't just Yoshidora. But for now, it's pretty much Yoshidora. And finally, we have Gluto, the best player in Europe, or as he was for a long time. He still is. I think there's a bit of a fight in Europe for who's the best player, but there is Gluto. The thing about Wario is he has this thing where people believe if he didn't have Waft, he'd be mid-tier, or he would be high-tier at best. And I'm kind of the group that believes he'd be a high-tier character. It's weird. Like Rob, I think Wario has a lot of struggle matchups, but he transcends them because he has Waft, and you basically have an extra stock to kill people at 0. And Gluto is so smart at hitting that clutch factor. But even past that, you will see Gluto do some of the craziest combos and reversals you will ever see a Wario do, just because he's that in tune with Wario. When I think of a crazy combo, I think of this one from Gluto versus T. That combo was nuts. He's so intelligent with this character. It's like he just embodies every option with this character because he plays so much, he grinds so much, that he just knows when things work. And Gluto has done that for years, for Smash 4, for the entirety of Ultimate. He just makes the character. He is Gluto. He is Wario. And I think there aren't going to be many players like Gluto that really define a character. There are a ton of characters in this game, and people would prefer to play the easy ones that make them get easy dubs. But when they show expression through their characters, that is when Smash is the coolest. I could talk about many other players, I can bring up a ton of other types of styles, and I might in the future. But for right now, I think this is a pretty good list of people that I think inspire their player base to the point that it is magical.